Guess who's back? What's up, everybody? This is Frankie B. And, oh man, whew, it looks like I've been doing sketch covers for just a minute. I'm gonna say for a minute, but having a great time. These are sketch cards. Excuse me, sketch cards. Jeez, I'll be working on sketch cards next week. Sketch covers. These are sketch covers that I had for a while over the years and stuff. I just collected them, and I always in the back of my mind said, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I just put them away. And so this is the day. This is the time where I'm dusting them off, and there's there's some online auctions I've been doing, and I said, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to maybe try to move those and stuff. So that's why I've been doing a series of sketch covers, just to have as a buffer for the next amount of auctions that happen to pop up and stuff. And then I can move over to other stuff like commissioned art that I got to do, and then also doing some fulfillment stuff for the Kajus and Cowboys Kickstarter campaign, which was a success, a huge success for us. But I'm now in the stages of doing the fulfillments for the sketch cards, so people are coming back telling me what they want me to draw. So with that said, as I've always said in previous videos, it is very important for artists, and I say all across the board artists. You could be amateur, but since I'm somebody who's worked in the field for 30 years, I'm a pro, is that you have to be mindful of your time. You have to understand and balance and try to find a way where you're putting some time aside for work, but then also time aside for just your more mental, the mental recharge, the spiritual recharge, whatever that you need to get yourself to dial down from all that creative energy trying to be put into something like this or whatever the project's going to be. It is important. I find it too many artists, and when I say artisans, I say writers and any person that's doing creative work, that we tend to throw everything we have at a project. And that could be a detriment. I mean, you can hear great stories about legendary artisans that have done fantastic pieces of work, but then behind those great stories, you start hearing the sad stories of the things they lost. There, to do that much stuff, to put that much energy into whatever you're doing, yeah, it sounds like a wonderful thing, but then in many cases there is a huge price you will pay, and sometimes there's a payment that could be a final payment for some of these people, unfortunately, and we end up losing these tremendous talents. So I made a promise to myself years ago that I wasn't going to go down that path. And, I said, look, I'm going into as soon as the half century mark is kicking in, I have to start making some changes in my own life for my own mental security, as well as my spiritual security and just overall. And I found that by shaping my work ethic and and shaping the fact of me just being more mindful and getting that balance, I've found an improvement. I've actually gotten back. I've been rejuvenated in the excitement of drawing. I mean, that's something that, God, 30 years working in the art industry, and I feel like I'm having that excitement that I had when I first was starting out in doing art, and that was like back in really fully, I would say 1993, when I started really getting into the industry, when I was like a quote unquote freelance artist out there on the grind, knocking on the doors, getting the door slammed in the face and all that fun jazz. So anyway, with that said, this is the final sketch cover that I will be doing in this mass sketch cover extravaganza that I've been doing for a while, a couple of weeks now. And this was a Transformers Regeneration 1 sketch cover. I believe this book came out, and let me see the date. Let's see, in 2013. Yeah, 2013. I think it's IDW. So this is an old one. This is an old baby right here. So anyway, there's I think it's Rodimus Prime right there. So I went with Rodimus Prime. He was on the cover and stuff, and I said, you know what, hey, I'm gonna go for Rodimus, and I'm just gonna do the classic kind of like him punching something down, showing that power. And then, of course, doing the Frankie B thing where I'm doing like the old school, the rock and rubble is actually spelling out the word boom, so you get a sense of power. So yeah, this is going to be the final one in this leg of the journey, and yeah, this is going to be pretty cool. So we'll just see how it goes. So As usual, this is going to be a mashup video, which is going to be me currently talking and dragging your ear off. And then I'm going to transition over to the hyperlapse, which is going to be me drawing much more faster, to some more jams and stuff. I love my jams. I don't know about the rest of you. And please feel free to comment. Do you like listening to music? What do you do if you happen to be an artistic person? If you're drawing, writing, or whatever, do you listen to music? I've heard stories of George Perez, who I got to meet years ago. He would literally draw while watching TV, just for the background noise and stuff like that. I mean, that's, and I've tried that before, but that's kind of tough, because immediately my mind's wanting to see what's on the TV. I even have like a small little portable player, DVD player, and sometimes, if I wanted to watch something, I would probably put it in front of me and stuff. But again, that's really tough, because you're working on a project, and I'm so like hardwired and just getting a job done. And if I want to watch something, I really want to be able to immerse myself into the whatever I'm watching. I'm always getting people who say, "Hey, did you watch this anime?" And I'm like, I can't watch it, man. Especially if it's subtitled. There's no way I can do that. I'm just too hardwired in the old way of just like, get your work done, and then once your work's done, then you can play. Every time I start doing that, I hear my mom's voice, and it just comes in full blare. Or I hear my teacher's voice. Get the job done. My teacher said, Charlie Banks, get the job done, Washington. Stop complaining. Get it done. Then you can play. Or my mom, same thing. Get it done, Frankie B. Get it done, and you can play. And it's good, because once you get it all done, then you can say, okay, it's finished. And now I can rest my mind and my spirit, my soul, or whatever, and then you can do fun stuff. And especially for me, it's just spending more time with Jess and our fur baby Shadow and whatever. It's so important. I think that's something that we need to see more and more. I want to see more and more artists out there, hopefully talking about the fact of just their own mental welfare. I'm tired of seeing too many fantastic artists and gifted individuals, and they're just gone. They're just gone, man. And all we have is just, you get the memory of their work, and of course somebody might be trying to sell their work or whatever, and that's always been the thing that always got me. Yeah, this person's great and whatever, but they're gone, and gone way too soon. I'm not talking about people that have put the time in, and and they're at the end of their journey. When their age is, they're up there, they put some mileage on there. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that are pretty young, and they're just gone, man. And in some cases, just taken out by stuff where it's like, man, not even the hardcore stuff. So I don't want to see that. I want to see them hang around a little bit, so we can at least see more of this stuff, hopefully. All right. So I like listening to jams, and I've always been. It's funny, music. When I listen to music, I just like listening to every little bit of everything. People would ask me, what kind of sound you like? When I grew up, my mom definitely listened to a lot of Motown, a lot of R&B stuff, but also I got hipped up to the Beatles and stuff. The Beatles, and then over time, the early days of rap music and stuff that sort of got into my life. But also I loved just classic rock, surprisingly also disco, a lot of disco music too. Love the Gibb brothers and stuff, and of course David Bowie and Jimi Hendrix. I mean, it just goes on. Even some Johnny Cash, so Elvis. More gospel stuff that I like. But I've always been able to listen to just about any and everything, and just I feel like by opening my mind up to a lot of different sounds and stuff, even tribal music or cultural music from overseas, international music, I feel like it just helps me in my artwork. Even my approach to doing artwork is very it's always been tough for me, because when people ask, they'll be like, well, what's your thoughts and whatever, and it's just like, I don't know. I worked hard on trying to bring back I'll call deep within myself a little bit of what I felt as a child, because I felt that when I was young, that's when my creative energies were at their peak, where I wasn't, there were no constraints on my creativity in a certain degree. Like, I mean, I have the knowledge and stuff of the years of working in the industry and what I learned in school, but something sometimes can die in you, where you start drawing 1,000 different trucks, or you're starting to draw a lot of different, like, for me, the toothbrushes and stuff, or whatever, the products, and you get stuck in that way of kind of like drawing style and whatever. Whereas when I was a kid, there was no rules. I just was like, okay, I just want to draw this, I want to see these two characters fight. That's it. I don't want to overthink it. I don't want to be like, okay, this character, why is this character fighting this character? This character, of course, would never meet this. None of that stuff. I'm not a believer in that. I believe you should be able to put any character you want in there and make something. That's what makes it interesting. If you want to have Goku fighting Superman, then so be it. More power to you. I'd rather see that. That to me excites me. The possibility of somebody drawing that, illustrating that, than somebody who's just like, well, Superman can only be fighting this character, that kind of thing. Well, just too much overanalyzing stuff. It takes the fun out of it, really. So that's the part of me that that I'm trying to sort of reclaim. All right, so I don't know. I in my earlier videos, I was also saying that I'd gone back to working with the Royal brushes, the Royal brush, which has been really fun. It has been, and I'm definitely going to keep doing it. I think actually when I start working on the actual pages for Cowboys and reverse, Cowboys and Kajus. That probably could work. We could reverse that. Cowboys and Cowboys, Kajus and Cowboys. Excuse me. Yeah, most definitely. I'm going to be going back to the old brush and stuff. Why not? It's good. It's good to go back and sort of touch base with techniques and tools that I haven't used in a very long time. It is important, and I'm glad that this project kind of afforded me that chance, that opportunity. I must say that it is kind of cool. Like, I'm starting to, on another note, is starting to get the fulfillments going with the sketch cards and stuff, and get some really interesting ones, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to starting on them, especially on like our official, our card stock, which is really good. It's really fantastic card stock. All right, nice and thick. All right, here we go. Oh man, Rodimus. All I can think about is, man, that scene in Transformers the movie, the animated one from the 80s. Oh, when he just suddenly gets bigger, and then he's scrapping it out with Galvatron. God, I remember going to the movies to see that. How crazy is that? There was that moment of weirdness I felt, because I'm like, oh man, I'm like the only grown up here in this theater with kids. I didn't care. It was like Transformers, man. That movie, I just remember the commercial. It was like, took 4 years in the making. I remember how great that was. I was like, oh man, 4 years in the making. It's tremendous. And I'll tell you one thing, it showed too. The animation on that was on point. It was on point all the way. They were not messing around. It's the same thing like with Akira. When Akira came out, it was like, oh, just like you could see it. I dream one day that we can, somebody will dust off the old school animation techniques and do a film like that. I know my mind, the business side of my mind goes, yes, I know it's costly, but still, it'd be so cool to see. I think it's almost important, especially for the youngsters who have never really experienced that kind of thing, because they're getting used to that kind of digital kind of cell. I don't know what that technique is that they have now, and that's cool. I understand why it exists, but still, it'd be nice to see some old school stuff too. Just somebody out there willing to pull a trigger and say, okay, you know what, we're gonna do this. That'd be nice. So anyway, is the point where I'm gonna take this over. Let's see where we at. Yeah, I've been yapping for a little bit. I'm gonna take this over to the hyperlapse. Once more, I just want to thank you so much for coming to my channel and just, you know, just commenting and you know, checking it out and sharing it and stuff like that. It really does. I don't even know. There's no words for it. It's just the fact that it just feels good that people are looking at it and they're reacting to it and they're just having whatever feelings they want to have. And then some feel, you know, really good enough to respond to me or, you know, comment on it. That's even better, because then that shows me that you are definitely are watching it and stuff like that and feeling something about it. And so I respond back to those comments. So anyway,